thank you to everybody in this room. Somehow, some way, y'all didn't realize it, but out of the 37 people that are here, for the students that are here today receiving awards, 22 out of the 37 participated in archery this year. We were the only program on the coast that had a 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade program. When we went to St. Martin, Van Cleve, Stone, OLA, Pass Christian, we went up to State and South State. Every one of the coaches that we asked, for help and guidance, they turned around and said, we need help and guidance on how to get more 4th and 5th and 6th graders into the program. So give all the students here who are on the archery team a big round of applause because they really I'm not one for talking to the microphone, so I think you all can hear me. Here, I'm free, okay, we're good. What I told the students when we met back in January, I said, you guys are gonna be doing something nobody's ever done at this school before. You guys are gonna be taking a sport, a competition, you're gonna be learning about things that you haven't learned about, because I was that same person last September when I was told, hey, our archery coaches went out the door. And I was like, well, do you guys need one? They said, yeah. So the next day I was up in Jackson, getting training, picking up a bow and an arrow, first time in my life, aiming it at the target, and I shot a 5. I was quite happy. Okay, I got a 5, that's good, right? Okay, so point being, when I told all of these young people that have the courage to come out there and do something they've never done before, I said, I'm the exact same person you guys are. I just look older, I look bigger, and if I can make mistakes, you can make mistakes. The biggest thing is, you guys believe in yourself. So, I told them all, I said, the journey we're going on the next 4 months is I want you all to remember where you came from. So I'm gonna ad-lib a little, and go in little stories. So, 48 years ago, I was born in Oakland, California, okay? Born in Oakland, California. The day I was born, some of you may know a guy named Kenny Stabler. He broke camp at the Raiders camp, and he said, Chris was born, we're gonna go win a Super Bowl. That's literally a 50-year-old shirt. You're not gonna get real men wear black on many of the shirts anymore. The reason I say that, that was a shirt that my neighbor, who was a Vallejo police officer, had ties to Fred Bolitnikoff, some older players in the Raiders organization. It was his shirt, he passed it down to me. Everybody here in this room started this archery program. They started last year, some of them did, the majority started this year. There's a legacy that you guys have all built that, as we see as I go through, and I say the numbers to everybody in this room, I want you guys to understand how hard these kids work. Okay, we went to myriad of gymnasiums. There were 6 middle schools on the coast that had programs. There are 3 high schools on the coast that don't have programs because they won't allow their kids to have weapons in their hands. Okay, we have kids here who took the responsibility, and we learned along the way. We had kids who would take the bow and the arrow, never shot it before, next thing you know, it's off, and boom, it's on the other kid's target, 2 targets open. And as long as nobody was downrange, we were always safe. We got the 11 steps. Kids kind of laughed about it, it was good. We had a couple parents that said, hey, I want to try archery. Okay, well, grab a bow, let's be safe. Kids, let's, encourage them on. And we had one parent in particular, he's in the audience today, we won't name names. He shot an arrow, and it hit off the metal beam in the back. And the next thing you know, there's an arrow back in the ground over here. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, 2 other students did this also. And the part where I wasn't worried was when the arrow came back, the point was so blunted on it, it was flattered in the ground. That's how hard it was when it went in there. We were like, oh my gosh. And when we went over to other gyms, we had other students who would hit the back. When they hit the bleachers, it bounced back off, and everybody was like, oh my gosh. And all the coaches, I said, hey, is that normal? Like, all the time. That's what happens when people practice things, they're doing things the first time. That's okay. Each one of these kids did that. Everybody out of the 22 archers, everybody shot good, they shot bad. Bounced back, shot good, bad, good again. main thing that I was proud of with this was the team, Hope Academy. Not one time in 9 meets, okay? We started out 2,086. We averaged as a team just under 175 points per archer. 9 meets, all it did was do this. And at the end, our team at state, representing this school, shot a 2704. We averaged a 295. We do have one unicorn in the room. His name is Liam Perez. He was the only one to start off low, high, high, high. He was the only one. Everybody else literally rode the roller coaster up and down. He was the only one, so kudos to Mr. Liam. I'm going to read these awards. I talked to the other middle school coaches that were on the coast. I want to make sure everybody understands we beat 23 high school varsity programs with our We placed 6th out of 15 and 11th out of 30 in the Model 2 AIMS Division 1 and Division 2. The kids just overall, I couldn't be more prouder as I'm going through these, telling stories. I might well up. If I do, hey, it is what it is. I'm sure we've all been there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and call the students up. Before I do, we had different clubs. There's 5 major awards that were decided upon kind of as a group from around the coast. The clubs that we have, academic archers, also known as scholar archers, depending on where they placed. We have the top 12, top 10, top 7, top 6, top 5 clubs, and what that means is that with each one of the meets, that individual archer placed in the top, whatever that place is, each one of the meets, they never placed lower than that. We have the Archery Club from Coach Farwell. That was the top archer at that specific meet. And we have the All Day Everyday Club. That was 4 students who didn't miss any meets all year. And we have the 200 and higher club. There was 2 archers that never shot below 200. Okay, first archer we're calling up. She started out with us, and she started out with 106, and it's a total out of 300. By the time she was done, her high score was 177. She improved by 71 points. Ms. Dylan Caddy, please. All right, so the archers are getting medal on the back. Has their name, and will be shot as a team at state, and then has their personal best on safety. The other thing we're also giving to, it's a binder. It has the child's state score or South State score, depending, and has different awards in there. It has every one of the Scantrons, where we went to the different meets. I was able to get the Scantrons back and then any practice that they had, so they can always go back and look and say, hey, no matter, because if you put it in perspective, everybody here, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grades, they're all red shirts. If you guys know anything about college athletics or whatever, you got your 4 years primary, and then say if a person gets injured or a person says, hey, I'm not having that good of a year, they call it a red shirt year. Everybody's in 8th grade is a red shirt. So they haven't even started what they're doing. All the way down to 5th grade, they're quadruple red shirts. That's what I tried to tell the kids, because you had so much competitiveness out of these young people, and I was like, you just gotta believe in yourselves. When you do, or whatever, it doesn't matter whether you fail as long as you give it 100%. Okay, so, next one. This young man, got a special place right here for me. He went out the first probably 4 practices, and he had a hard time with the 11 steps, and he struggled, and I just kept telling him, encouraging him. I said, hey, we all start from somewhere, and this young man kept coming out, and by the end, he He shot with us in state. Very proud of him. Looking to duel. All right, our next archer started out with 79. In our second scrimmage, it was outdoors at OLA. It was cold. I remember looking at her face, she's like, is this what all these are going to be like? Well, she finished with us at state. She's going from a 79 all the way to 160. This makes it more. Next one, started out with a 126. Pass Christian was our first regular meet. 7 meets later, finished with us with the state, and her high was 167. She improved 41 points. Miss Allison Costa. Okay. Next young lady, she came out of the chute firing, went to OLA. She's the first member of our Archery club, as Coach Farwell coined. She shot a 230 in the first meet. She had 8 meets. She averaged 195 in the meets that she shot, and she wound up shooting a 205 at state. Miss Aubrey Moore. Okay. The rest of these 17 that are on, are going to get recognized. Everyone knows an academic archer. I want everybody to put their hands together for It's very important. I've emphasized this since the beginning for the students to realize that they can shoot 300s all year, but they're not going to college if the grades aren't right. And a lot of those kids, especially the senior kids, we tried to ingrain it to where, because we have 5 targets, you can only shoot 10 at a time. We had 22 kids out there, so we had to go in 3 waves sometimes. And the kids were all very receptive. They said, hey coach, can I shoot, can I shoot? And I said, hey, who's got homework? And so usually about half of them had homework. They went inside, worked during the first wave. The other wave went out and shot. When we switched it up, other people could go with the families if they had to go early, or they went back in and worked on reading, worked on whatever they needed to work on. So kudos to the kids for that. Next young man, he came out of the gates blazing, 170. He was hot. I was like, whoa, man, he's a youngin', here we go. Next one, boom, he went down to 87. You could see on his face, he was so frustrated. And then all that young man did for the next 5 was work his way back up and finish with his highest score at state. His little brother has a name. I call him the Bull. So I was like, we have to figure something else out. So this young man, he's the Maddox. Maddox Bull. All right, just been informed of the Oscars. We're running out of time. Here we go. So the next one. When she's able to come out more on a consistent basis, you can see the improvement rise. Miss Ruth Odom. She started out in the state. She shot a 172. Next one, Miss Violet. This young lady, between her and Aubrey Moore, they were definitely my hardest reads. Usually I'm good at getting into a room and kind of reading who that person is, what kind of personality they have. This one, oh, it was tough. It was so serious when she got in the zone. sit there and she'd shoot. She'd be able to be looking. Take the eyes off, got back up and did it. I mean, that's how serious she was. What that tells me is that we have young people down here who, when they focus, they can do amazing things. Miss Hopkins started out with a 74. Her highest was a 187. This young lady started out with a 154. She finished with a 225. Miss Aslan Costa. There were weeks when she'd come up, she'd struggle, and sitting here watching, I'm like, something's different about it. We're out there and we're at the beats. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks left, I'm looking at her, I'm like, you got glasses on here, but you don't got glasses on here. Everybody seen the movie Major League when you put the glasses or you put the contacts on both? Hey, she saved her best for last 225. Congratulations. All right, my next one, my unicorn, Mr. Liam Perez. Get up here. This young man's a case that we can all learn from as we go into next year. You're only as good as the pride, the village that you're in. We figured out toward the end, he needed some rides. We got the communication better and everything going into next year, hopefully. Any of the archers that are on this team next year, please just keep communicating, make sure everybody gets to the meets and everything. He only shot 4 out of the 9, but those 4 that he shot were doggone good, so job was good. This young lady started off with 131, wound up shooting the St. Martin, our second to last meet. She shot a 205. Very, very proud of her. Young lady. Sophia Gibson. Okay. This young man came up at OLA and he shot an 83. He was not very happy because he has an older brother that he likes to beat. Well, his older brother definitely beat him that day. All this young man did was proceed to work. And he wound up shooting at St. Martin at 229 and ended up being recognized as the most improved male archer. Mr. Connor Eston. An improvement of 146. Absolutely amazing. All right. Next young man, known him for ever since we've been here. So he's our first member of the top 12 club. What that means is every meet he was in the top 12. As archery scoring goes, you take the top 12 score, you can shoot 24, but only your top 12 counts toward the final score. This young man, every meet that he shot, his score counted toward the team score. Mr. Spencer Blank. All right, next young lady, also a member of our top 12 club, started out with a 133. I had never seen a person more intense, more focused, and when her dad would come out and watch her, the intensity just rose up 3 more notches. It's Charlie Bienemy. Started out with a 133, ended up with her highest score at state, 221. Improved to 88. All right, next young lady. She's got a few clubs she's a part of, so I'm going to call her up now and then tell her what she's a part of. Miss Taylor Terry. She started off past Christian in her first scrimmage meet. She shot a 105, ended up at state, saved the best class, shot a 224, with 119 points to be the most improved female archer. Also academic archer and also part of the top 10 club, which means every week she shot, she was in the top 10 archer shot every week. All right, next one. Got a good story on this young man. All right, he is part of the all-day, everyday club, part of the top 12 club. He's an academic archer. He's also a little bit like me, as you guys are telling, he likes to talk a lot. The problem is, when he talks a lot, the shooting goes that way. So I told him, I said, you got a limit, 10 words. So when you get on that line, you got 10 words for the next 15 shots. And I'll be doggone. He went from a 188 and a 192, and then he had a little trouble with it. We all had time to adjust. 167 and a 166, and then he cut it. It was 8 words that day, and he shot a 203. Joshua Connors, give a compilation. And throughout the whole time, you guys know this, anybody who knows this young man, he had a smile on his face, he was positive, and everybody who was around him was also positive. That's what everything about that team was. All right, next young man, academic archer, part of the top 7 club. Loves to beat his brother. He loved to beat Kennedy. When he did, rubbed in her face a little bit. You can see Kennedy's face right there. Mr. Colin Eston. He started off the 181. This is the 7th grader shot last year. Started the 181, improved all the way up to a 230 for 49-point improvement, which is amazing. All right, our last 5. See if Nick get a little sentimental. So this one, I've been talking to the other coaches. You have a coach's award. This young man, I'll read the definition of what the award means, because I don't want a coach's award, that doesn't sound good. So when I had to name it something. The kids around, they're doing this kind of dance now or whatever, but it means a little something different to me. This young man showed the courage and strength of mind to continue doing something difficult or unpleasant. 3 words I had to describe him: determined, enduring. When I was in the Navy, I'd use a couple other words, but I chose this one instead, feisty. When this young man got up on the line, first time we went out to practice, he got the bow, and he held it up, and he went to pull it back, and his arm was shaking. I mean shaking. He was having a hard time holding it. Got the arrow in finally, he didn't get 1 arrow on the target. This young man kept persistent and persistent, and he went out to every practice there was. He didn't shoot in the meet until the Stone County meet. He shot a 101. He saved his best for last. He shot a 124 at state. This is my Gritty Hawk award winner, Mr. Brennan Golden. I use the term feisty. I always try to lighten it up out of practice. Sometimes I push the boundary a little bit. He's up there where one of the spring break practices, you got 10 on the line. There's a 5 targets. He's always wanting to be in the middle. So he's in the middle, but he's cockeyed over here. Miss Aubrey Moore was sitting next to me, up right here. And I was like, Brandon, I'll get you Aubrey's number later. Give her some space now. And I'm back here, and I look back, and I'm doing something else, whatever. I turn around, I hear the middle pattern, size 5 4 or 5 feet coming up behind me. The bow's dropped. He looks, he goes, "Do you want me to quit archery?" I said, "No, young man." He goes, "Then don't talk about me picking up numbers." Boom, roger that. Get back on the line. Mr. Brennan gets back on the line. I said, "Hey, anybody else have issues with phone numbers?" All of them raised their hand except for one. Josie, you know who I'm talking about. Mr. Manning's Bull just gave me the eyebrows raised, did the rock, all that. I mean, yeah. So we're good. All right. Our next one. This young man came out of pass. Member of the all-day, everyday club. He is a top 5 club. He was a member of the Archery club. He was the first one that shot that hit 250 at a meet. He's the top male archer. He ended up shooting at state 241. His overall improvement was a 98. Jonah Commons. Okay. Next one. She's a youngin', cracks her butt off. She is a scholar archer, and I'm sorry I didn't explain the scholar archers. You have an academic archer. Your scholar archer is a person who achieved the highest grade point average within their grade. So Jonah, this archer, and then one other one achieved scholar archer. She had the highest overall average score for anybody who shot all the meets. Part of the top 5 club. At the very first Pass Christian meet, she was the very first archer came out, and she's one of 2 members of the 200 and higher club. She never shot below 200. Extremely proud of her. When I'm kind of a stat head. Whenever I did all the stats, you have scrimmages, then you have actual meets that count. Her average for the meets that counted was 230. When I went to go put her average in for the scrimmages, it was 230. She's the most valuable archer on this year's team. This can't be cheaper. All right. My 2 ones, the last ones. I'm Kevin Martin. Here we go. So we have a certain award that you're seeing at the box. I'll have Miss Melissa show it to you. This young lady, I choose two captains every year. That's part of me being in the military, having a CO and an XO. This was our strong silent type. She wasn't going to sit out there and hem somebody up or tell somebody what they were doing wrong or tattle on anybody. This one, all she did was be the archer 4 times. She was the top scoring archer. Her number of 267 was literally 2 points off of being an all-state all-star. And she's a member of the top 6 club, but more importantly, we have a lot of young ladies on this team, and Miss Amaya Wilson set the example. She earned the rank of captain. Thank you very much for all your hard work this year. Last one, last but not least. I'm lucky in the fact that I am hopefully getting her for 1 more year. As you can see by my card, there's no space. She started off shooting 226. She never went below 200. She was the top overall scholar archer with a 99% on her GPA. That's what I got listed up there. She is also our captain. I considered her the XO. She's going to fleet up to CO next year, hopefully. She had the top meet score for the top 7 regular season meets. She had the top shooting score of all the averages of when you actually shot. 2-time member of the Archery Club, member of the 200 and higher club. She was our top overall archer for Fort Hope Academy, Miss London Lewis. So just in closing, I want to make sure everybody here understands when all of these kids at these other schools are doing archery, they have, the targets are wheeled out, everything's up there for them. All these kids in this room wheeled out 5 targets every day. They brought them back in every day. They kept that place spick and span clean. They kept each other in line. They wheeled the arrows out. They wheeled the bows out. This is a testament to what you put back into your program. Out of 22 kids, 16 kids have their own bows and arrows. I told that to the past Christian coaches. He goes, God bless, if I had half of that with their own bows and arrows that have that kind of investment in the time, I don't even know what this program would be. So thank you to everybody in this room. Thank you so much to the kids. And I got 3 in particular. And I know one of them is doing, he's right back there. Assistant coach, Coach Farwell, please give him a huge. There was karma in the air because, as you know, he's a Michigan fan. They won the national championship this year. So, I mean, came off the bench late in the fall. It was a big pickup to hear, but that was absolutely helping me out. Second one, I would not have had the opportunity I had to lead these unbelievable young people, and that was all due to the fact of somebody taking a chance on me. Even though I bucked and bucked and bucked, she said, you know what, that Bronco's going out this gate. Let's have a blame. This is the most important thing I've said all year. Thank you, the most amazing woman in the world, one that helped me no matter where I was, what I did, and like I said, set the example for all these young ladies. She's walking out the door like she always does. Please give a round of applause so she can hear it this morning.